Hey guys, it's Jen. Welcome to the new Craft Stash blog hop. I hope you guys are enjoying your tour of all the amazing paper crafters and card makers that are involved in this hop. Today's card features this sweet little chick from Darcie's Heart and Home stamps called Soar. I am also using a die from My Favorite Things and the Distress Oxide inks. So I use just basic coloring to color in my little chickie. I started my Copic class with Sandy Alnock, and I am learning a few things. So I decided to go ahead and try out some of my new techniques I've learned. Learning a little bit about shading, so this is my attempt at shading, and I thought it turned out pretty darn sweet. So I am using Y11, and I just colored over the whole entire chick using Y11, and then going back in with a Y15, and then over again over that with the Y13, and then I'll come back with the Y11, and I do end up repeating this process until I get a good color combination or shading combination that I was kind of looking for. So this is you know, been a learning experience. If you guys have been following me for a little while, you know this has been a little trying for me, which is why my videos have kind of slowed down a little bit. I feel like I'm having to learn to craft or card make all over again, just with all the different products and, you know, the markers. It's been a little bit more challenging than I thought it was going to. You know, you craft a certain way with a specific product for so long, and then I've been thrown into this amazing world of paper crafting, and yeah, so but it's fun. I'm really enjoying the learning process. So I came in with the beak, and I just did a single color, so YR16 for his little orange beak, and then I decided to use E95 to color in the little cheeks, and I ended up going over that with the Y11 just to kind of soften it up a little bit. And moving along to the balloon, I kind of struggled with the shading on this one because my chick is shaded one direction of the light, and I felt like I needed to shade this one a little different just because the highlight is already there in the balloon. So pay no attention to which direction the sun is coming from on this one, because it's coming from all kinds of different directions with these two different images. But I was pretty tickled with the way they turned out, and I just love those lavenders together. So I went ahead and cut out the little chickie, and I just cut directly on the line. And I loved it because it was super simple to cut out, and you know, me and simple. Maybe one of these days I'll break down and get the Brother Scan and Cut, but my goodness, I have so many other things on my wish list to buy that I just decided to hold off on that for now, so hand cutting it is. Now, one thing that I did not do in this video that I did do on my original cut images is I came back with a black marker, and I just used Stampin' Up's basic black marker. And after I was done cutting out the images, I went ahead and ran my marker along the outline of the bird, just to kind of take away some of the places that maybe I missed the black ink line on them, and just to kind of give it a more completed look. So this one I decided just to go ahead and cut off the little ties that were on the balloon because I'm adding my own at a later point. My background is made with my two favorite colors, the Broken China Distress Ink and the Twisted Citron, and I'm just sponging it on using the Ranger Mini blending tools. I absolutely love these things. And I decided to keep my sky more, you know, have more of the sky. So probably 2/3 of the sky and 1/3 of the grass. And you'll only end up using a very small portion of this at the very end. So I just kind of tried to blend out my lines and just keeping my background simple since I didn't have a whole lot of it to play with. So I'm going to be using the rectangle peekaboo window from My Favorite Things. This, I just really love this die. It kind of adds really neat double stitching along the window part of it, which I think adds so much detail to the image when you, or the, I guess the die cut, the window. And not forgetting to put my sentiment on. This sentiment is from the Itty Bitty Greetings from Stampin' Up, which is one of my favorite go-to sentiment stamp sets. It has two different sets that are basically one. So you get a lot of greetings, and they're just perfect for some of these smaller images that I've been using. So here I am sticking on all of my tape, and this took a little bit longer than I thought it was going to, so I'll go ahead and just chit-chat while I'm cutting all this tape down to size. This is just the Scotch craft foam tape, and I went ahead and just really loaded it up with the tape so I had a nice solid area. And here I went ahead and just cut it in half so I could fill in those spaces on either side, and I do go above as well. And I do still have a ton of Stampin' Dimensionals, but I do use those for my smaller images when needed. But I'm really liking this wider tape, the foam tape. Have more coverage, and it seems a little bit more solid when I add my things together. So this is where you could cut down that piece that I sponged. You could certainly cut it down smaller. I just wanted to have a big enough piece where I could just stick it on there and kind of arrange it where I wanted to without worrying about where my placement was when I sponged it. I am putting all of this onto a 3 7/8 by 5 1/8 piece of Pineapple Prestige from My Favorite Things. And I really do love the quality of this cardstock. It's a nice thick cardstock. And that is going on this really sweet, My Favorite Things Sweet Celebration. It comes from just that 6x6 paper pack. And that is a 3 and, what is that, 4 by 5 1/4. It's been on the screen, but that was a while ago. And I'm going to take my archival basic black ink, which sadly is retired, but I love this ink. And I'm just going to go ahead and stamp him on. And I did that so I could keep the little legs in his hair because I cut it off. I didn't really want to have to cut around those little feet and hair when I was doing my cutting out. There was just a little bit more detail than I wanted to put into it. So I'm just going to pop that up with some foam tape and making sure that I get it even on there. And then I just use a little Stampin' Dimensional for the balloon. Oh, there's the other card. Yeah, sometimes I needed to figure out where my placement is. I know that's probably bad. I can't remember what I did. So I went ahead and just added a little small glue dot underneath of his wing and underneath of the balloon. And you could do that before you actually put those on the card. However, I forgot to put it on the balloon before I stuck the balloon on, so it still worked after the fact. And then I just cut it off and tying a little tiny bow. It's been a while since I've actually made any bows. I haven't really been using a whole lot of ribbon since I have switched over. So I thought this would be a perfect time to pull out my linen thread from Stampin' Up! And get a little bit of use out of it. It's been one of my favorite little accessories to add on. So I'm just going to stick that on a glue dot and put it on my balloon. Just evening out the edges or the ends of my linen thread. And this is a Uniball jelly roll, and I just put a couple little dots on his cheeks and in his eyes to kind of brighten those up a little bit. And of course, you know, my Clear Wink of Stella, can't have a card without it. Just kind of gives a little bit of extra shimmer onto that balloon, which I just love having that added. The whole thing is going to go on a 4 1/4 by 11 card base. And then we are going to be done. So make sure that you If you are watching this on YouTube, make sure you go to my website, worldofgencraft.com, and check out all of the paper crafters that are in the blog hop. There are 3 days worth and giveaways, so make sure to leave comments on all of the blogs and you will be put in a drawing. So thanks again, guys. Bye.